Hey everyone. So, had a new kid and been away from YouTube, and but I did want to make some more videos, and what I'm going to be focusing around is going to be KQL, Kusto Query Language. We're going to go basic. We're not going to go deep. Although I will be, taking you on the journey with me, and as I make more videos, hopefully you're going to be at a better position with, you know, getting, you know, getting that KQL background and knowing more about that particular language. So first off, KQL is used in a number of products or solutions within Microsoft. It's used as to query log analytics. It's also used to query Windows Defender, and it's also used to query Azure Sentinel. So if these are the kind of topics you want to get more deeper in, KQL is a very, very important. It's something you can't really ignore. So I'm going to teach you how to learn to query KQL in these data sets. Okay. So first off, let's talk about how it works. So in Azure, what we have is I'm going to draw just a cloud. Imagine that there's a cloud, okay? And we're going to call this log analytics, all right? Now, log analytics is just another word for a log database. It's basically a database of logs, right? So I'm going to draw a box here, and it just stores it. All the data goes into the box, okay? This data that could go in the box could be however you want to store it. It could be event logs. It could be, events, or it could be things that are happening. It could be trigger events. It could be syslog, Ceph, API, you know, audit logs, anything that you want to store and be able to query very quickly against this database. That's log analytics. It's just storing it, right? And for log analytics, the how it's priced is we will store the data depending on how big it is and how long you want to store it. So if you have 1 gigabyte and you want to store for 30 days, then you got to pay for that. So the goal is you don't want to send all your logs to log analytics if you're not using it. You only want to send data that you are going to use. You don't want to just store stuff you're not using. That's also similar to hoarding, right? But a lot of us, in IT, we have a lot of logs. We don't use it, but we always kind of want it if we need it. But you run into issues with if you have these logs, you should actually not have it go very long if you don't really need it, because this also goes into privacy issues, compliance issues, and retention policies. So just store the data as much as you need it for whatever workflow you're trying to use that data for. So now that we know about this log analytics workspace, you query it by running kusto query language. It's basically the language to talk to the database. Okay? So you just really, as a user on your machine, this is a keyboard. I apologize if it's bad, but you as a user, you're going to use this computer, and you're just going to talk to using KQL, right? So that log analytics knows how to give you what you want. So you're going to make a request, and then you're going to get a result, right? So let's understand how to actually query the Kusto query language. So, and again, with log analytics, just so you know, we may have, let me tell them the color. We may have Sentinel right? If you heard about Azure Sentinel, or you heard about Defender for endpoint, they also use KQL. Why? Is because they're also storing it in a log analytics database. And log analytics is actually built on it's a very scalable database. I believe it's GraphQL, and it's very easy to query, and you can make pretty complicated queries and get results very quickly. And then you set up automation around it or alerts, right? So let's query KQL and let's just learn about it. We're not going to go too deep into the solutions. We're just going to learn KQL. So anybody can connect to this environment if you have an Azure login. And then once you connect, you're going to give this log analytics workspace. Again, if you're wondering how I got there, it's aka.ms/LA demo. Stands for log analytics demo. Okay. So now that you're here, let's query log analytics. Okay. So log analytics has, I'll call them data sets or tables that you would query. Remember, a table is sort of a box that you are going to ask for information from that box. Okay, so for example, let's take a look at some security events. So what did I do? I went to tables, I went to Azure Sentinel, I opened it up, and I went to security events. This little, it looks kind of like an eyeball. It allows you to preview that data. But what's cool is you can actually click on this See and Query editor, and it actually generates what you saw in that preview into the table. Now, that is one way to build what we call a query, which is just a set of lines that you run to get the data you need. You just need to query that data, right? So we're going to run it from scratch, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to security events. Now, the coolest thing that we have here is IntelliSense. If you don't know what IntelliSense is, it allows you to quickly build your commands or your strings very easily by giving you helpful pop-ups as you're typing. Very, very helpful for developers and people trying to build queries, because you don't have to, when you're trying to think of something to solve a particular problem, this is very helpful. So first we need to query the table, right? Security event is the table. Now you can click run, but you don't have to do it that way. You can also do Shift Enter, which is the method I prefer. After you type in whatever, just push Shift Enter and run the code, because you're going to be trying to modify your code and these commands to make sure you build the query the way you want it. Okay, so we have security event, and as you can see, there's a lot of data, over 10,000 records. So that's too much. So let's say you want to limit that data. You don't want 10,000. You want to make it smaller. That's too much. So you want to go and do a pipe. A pipe is literally that long line above the enter key. And you're going to hear pipe, and what that pipe means is you're taking results from something and then you're piping it into what will be used for something else. Let me show you, just so you know what a pipe is, because we say pipe and sometimes people don't know what pipe is. Let me clear the canvas. A pipe literally takes results. So if you have a result of 10,000 entries, a pipe will say, I want to take these 10,000 entries and I want to use this data as an input to this other thing. So just basically take this and use it for this. So what would happen if I put another pipe and another pipe? What would happen? Let's say I'm trying to filter the data. Let's say this was 10,000 cars and I wanted blue cars. So I had like 10,000 cars, right? And out of 10,000 cars, I want blue cars. So just not language speaking, just in in human context, I would say I want out of 10,000 cars, I want the blue cars. So in here, you just put, inside the next sort of between these two pipes, for the, after the first pipe, you would say, I want to take that data and I want blue cars. And then out of this, I want to take that result. So maybe there's only 2,000 blue cars, right? So out of 10,000, I have 2,000 blue cars. And then I want to do another pipe and take this result and filter it even more. Does that make sense? So now I want maybe only vans out of that blue car. So 10,000 cars, then we have 2,000 blue cars, and now we're doing vans. What do you think is going to happen here? It'll be just anything that matches. If it's a blue car and a van, that is going to be the result of this, right? So then maybe there's, let's say, 200 vans. So what did I do here? I took 10,000 cars, I then filtered it to blue cars, and then filtered it to vans. So a pipe just sets these sort of segregation and says, I want to take stuff from the the objects from the left, and I want to use it for the anything on the right of the pipe. Okay, hope that makes sense. So now you know what a pipe is. If I'm putting a pipe, that means I'm taking the results from the security set here, and I'm going to do something with it. So again, I'm taking the results from this result right here. Sorry, bad circle. And I want to use it, and then these results go into this pipe. This pipe literally just does that specific command. Okay? So what do you think I need to type here? I need to filter it. Where? See, as you can see, if I type in where, I get a helpful command on where to pipe, right? And if you click, watch, I'm going to do it again. If I type where, you saw what I did there? I clicked on the triangle. Let me click on the X. Let me do it again. I'm trying to get that triangle to come back. Okay, here we go. So you see that? If I click on this triangle, it has like a read more. You can actually learn samples on how to run the command. So T is just a result, the table. T is for table. Where fruit equals apple, that's it. That's a filter. Does that make sense? Where fruit equals apple. Where is the command that tells the log analytics that you want to filter? Where filter is the same thing. You just can't use filter because it's not filter. Don't ask me why. We're using where. So where fruit equals apple equals. So let's look at that. Where, we're taking the table, we're putting it to where fruit is the column name. So imagine that you have a table with many different columns. In our example for the car scenario, the column could be type of car, color could be another column, year would be another column, model would be another color, right? Another column. So where, which is filter, fruit equals means it has to match exactly that that parameter or that word or string. It has to match that what you put after the equals. So in this case, what do you think it is? equals equals apple, meaning it has to match apple. By default, we don't match case sensitivity, so you can do a capital A and you can still get apple. It just has to match the word apple. Okay? All right. So, now that you know that, we're going to filter where, and we're going to look for a column. So I'm going to look at the results here. Let me see if I can find the result. It's kind of, I had to make it really big, so I apologize, but let's find where, what should we filter on, guys? Command line. You know what? Let's just look for machine. So let's say no, let's look for channel security. So let's just do that, something simple. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Don't know what's going on. Why is this not? There we go. Results. Okay. All right. So let's put where channel, right? And did you see the IntelliSense channel, right? If it already pre-populates it, you don't have to type everything. You can literally just press tab, or you can press enter. So here I go again. Where, enter, channel, enter, equals, equals, equals. What am I going to put here? I'm going to put this. Security. It has to match security. And I'm going to do it as lowercase. Okay? So what do you think is going to happen here? Nothing. Nothing happens. So maybe it does match by case. Maybe I'm wrong. It is case sensitive. Okay. I apologize. It's case sensitive. Maybe there's other comparison commands or operators that would be insensitive. But this one is exact even with case sensitivity. So keep that in mind. Okay? So security events where channel equals security. And that's it. You just did a filter and you have a result. Does that make sense? Now, again, you're getting 10,000 records. So let's limit the list. Now this one's pretty easy. We want to limit. And you get a little example right here, limit 5. So let's do limit 10. What do you think is going to happen there? We're going to filter by security, and then we're piping that result and now limiting it to 10. Does that make sense? So let's look at it again. We're taking the security. This is the table, right? We're putting this into a pipe, and we're piping it, and then from there, we're going to filter. We're going to filter this by this particular column, right? By security, and then we're going to now take all this and then the results, and then it feeds into the next pipe. Then from there, we could do another command. So you can chain pipes, like you can pipe and pipe and pipe and pipe. So what you saw here is literally this right here is the same thing as this. It just looks a little cleaner because you have a filter here and then you have a filter here, right? And another thing is I don't press run, I do shift enter. So just practice holding shift and press enter, and then you run your commands, you run your results. So let's filter further. We limit it by 10. So remember, if we limit by 10 and then we do activity, so let's process by activity. So we're going to do another one where activity where is it? Where activity contains a word. So let's do created. So we're just going to look for a word. Now we're at 9 records. We're at 9 records now. Let me actually do this. So if you want to ignore a particular filter and want to test things out, you can simply just do a line, like I think it's forward slash. Then that means it's a comment. A comment is just it's like it's just something you can document the code with. So you can say this is a query to filter on created security events, something, whatever it is, but it allows you to kind of read the code and then know what this this particular query is going to do. Okay, what do you think? Because I commented out limit 10, what do you think is going to happen? Now there's a lot of results because that limit 10 is not there anymore. So what I could do is I could just take this limit 10 and put it below it. So I want to first do security. I want to find activity created, and then I want to limit it by 10. And what do you think is going to happen? Well, the results are just 10. Okay. So do you see how to kind of filter, how to query? Another cool thing that you could do is, and then we'll be done with this particular video, is summarize. What is summarize? Well, summarize is looking at unique items in a column. Unique items in a column. So let's take that car scenario again. Blue cars. Well, what if there were red cars or purple cars or black cars or white cars, right? There might be a time you want to know what the unique names are. You don't need to know all the blue cars or all the purple cars. You just need to know what type of colors are there. So it's just grabbing the unique names, or what we call it in Kusto query language or KQL, distinct. Okay, so you go distinct, right? And then you specify the column. So let's say we want activity. So all the distinct activities from that, from those 10 rows that was limited. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, I only have one event, right? One activity. What do you think will happen if I delete limit 10? Now I have 2 unique events. What do you think will happen if I just delete the created word? Now I'm going to get everything in the security, everything with the word security in the channel column, and then I'm going to have all the distinct or types of activities I saw in the log. So 22 records. Again, these are just anything that's distinct, meaning that out of all those 10,000 entries, there was only 22 different activities. Does that make sense? So this really is a way to find out what types of activities are occurring in that result. You can take it further and it says, well, I want to know how many of those activities was in those results. Well, you could do summarize. Summarize just groups them together. It counts it. And you want to do by count by activity. So what do you think is going to do there? What do you think is going to happen here? What type of results do you think is going to happen? So here we go. 4634 account logged off. There was 63,000 counts of that particular log entry. And then from here, we are going to limit to 1, maybe let's do 1,000. What do you think is going to happen here? Well, first, we're going to filter by security. We're going to limit it to the first 10,000 entries. Then we're going to summarize that list. So it's a lot less, 9 records. See? And it's the counts are a lot less, right? And technically, if you add this all together, this should add up to 1,000. because that's what you're limiting a list by, and you're summarizing it. Does all this make sense? All right, everyone. I hope this was helpful. This is basic. So if you're advanced, then do not do not. I apologize. You were looking for more, but I will make more videos. So please subscribe, and I'm gonna make more videos. Tell me what you want to see, what you want to learn about, what particular you know what's been troubling you, and I'll kind of help you in that, or I'll make a video segment around that as well. Okay. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good day.